is about as new a design as you can get when it comes to scale ducted fan aircraft. This, of course, is the YF-22. There's only one in existence now. There was two, but they had trouble with the second one, and the first one is no longer flyable either. Advance the throttle on it, and this airplane will give you the most perfect scale rotation for takeoff that it just doesn't by itself. In order for me to do as good as a contest, I need an airplane that can do that, and it'll give you a 10 for a takeoff all on its own. It also has another feature that it does is when you pull the throttle back to land it, it'll actually come to a flared attitude and sink rate right on down and just roll out. You can almost put the transmitter on the ground to land the aircraft. It's an astounding airplane to fly. It does take some a little more advanced work to build it, and you might not want to take it to this level. This level on this airplane of detail and work in the scale doors and landing gear and paint and cockpit, operating canopy and hard points and pots and everything else. This airplane weighs 21 pounds and yet it flies like I just described to you. If you build this airplane strictly for a fun fly and fan flies and stuff like that, we can build this airplane at 17 pounds. When we first built this one here, all the test flying of the airplane was done with it at that weight without all the detail on it, and it was something to see. I didn't have anybody really running a video camera that could film all that. I wish I had all that on video back in those days. I do not, but it's quite plain to fly. It really is a fun airplane. These are representation of 3,000-pound laser-guided bombs on there, and it carries 4 of those. This is an actual scale payload that's on there. That is a ECM, a basic countermeasure pod that's out there on the furthest pylon. The gun in this aircraft here is actually made out of steel and blue. It was just a steel tube drilled, put the tubes in there, and then the whole steel unit here of the gun is actually filled with lead to be the counterweight and the balancing weight to CTV aircraft. This kit sells for $450, and like I say, it has an extensive amount of fiberglass parts in it, foam boards, stuff like that. A set of string air gears, a very heavy-duty set of string air gears are made for the aircraft, work very well on it. Okay, this is the flying scale version of the A-10. It weighs 16 pounds. As you can see, it doesn't have quite the detail of the other one, but that's what keeps it lighter. And if you're only going to fun fly the airplane, I wouldn't recommend you go any much further than this. To give you a look here, this is the way the engine installation is. This winds up being a hatch. Open the hatch here. All the intake ducting and exhaust ducting is made out of 1/64. It's your hatch here that goes over to get to access to the engine. And using these Mac 7.5 ducted fan pipes, you can see how short they are, and they're really not that obtrusive. If you anodize them black, they would even be less obtrusive. This works the same way. I have a servo embedded in the wing for each aileron. There are arrow shafts that go forward. The servos that operate the tail feathers are mounted right here, and there's 2 arrow shafts that come to the back here to operate the rudders and also the elevator. These are the spring air retracts, as I mentioned before. And if you pull this screw here, this is the only hatch you really need to get to for radio stuff, and it's just a bat cave inside here. There's nothing in here other than a former and a retract mounted, so you just bring all your radios here as far forward as you can, and so all of that is wherever you need to put them up in front of the airplane. This airplane also, when you're, if you have the question of how does this airplane fly with an engine out, well, yes, I have flown this airplane with an engine out, and the only thing I noticed on my other one in there that weighs 21 pounds is it didn't want to climb anymore, didn't want to produce any more altitude, but the airplane other than that flew just fine, and you didn't even know you were flying on one engine other than the sound and all that, and all I did was just fly it around and land the airplane. It's just the only thing it didn't want to do was climb anymore. So that's a very nice feature about a twin. Or tapes or that much to really get good quality taping, and I haven't been flying this airplane for quite some time, so once again I'm sorry about the not fiberglass fuselage, fiberglass cowling, fiberglass that we have that are getting ready to be shipped out of here. This is the YF-22, which you know is my new one. This is the fiberglass fuselage, and the duct tubes are inside in here. This is a